is Dr. Natalie Lenore Blackman taking you into this YouTube series, Learning to Abide in the Secret Place. And this series may be pop-up talks because again, as I mentioned yesterday, that I have zero script for this and no notes, and nor do I have an outline of any sort. I just answered the call and said, yes, I will do it, and I will get right on that. And I think part of that is, we'll go into this, but part of that is to remove me or self from the picture and try to bring you more of the Creator. And I point to the back of me because this is sometimes where I go to meet with the Creator of heaven and earth. This is one of my little secret getaways when I'm riding my bike. And it's a little bench on top of a hill because we're in Alabama, not a mountain, but a hill. But this is one of the little places I like to go. And at this time of day, the sun comes in, it just, as you can see it, and it just gives me the great sense of how powerful God is and who He is, and the fact that He made me and cares about me and communes with me is something that is, again, unfathomable, similar to when I visited heaven, like indescribable, because we're humans. And sometimes you'll hear me say hello humans because I'm used to dealing with dogs and cats and all animals really, but to be reminded that we're human, we're natural beings, but we have a supernatural spirit, and so we have a supernatural divine being that can radiate through us and in us and communicate with us. And that's very, very important to me. And it's very important that I explain that to you on this journey. And we're going to be talking about harvest today. We talked about seeds and what we put in the ground. And then we talked about time. And we talked about the time that it takes a seed to grow into a plant. And then we also talked about that time, that perfect window of putting the seed into the ground. And we talked about the importance of Kairos time, which is divine time. It's different than chronological or Chronos time. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about harvest. And when I was riding my bike right before, 1 minute ago, before I realized I was going to give this talk or do this talk, I saw this beautiful flower. And I think this is called pink fire, and also like firefly maybe. All the gardeners will know it. And this flower it has a divine purpose, okay? And this divine purpose is to attract the ruby-throated hummingbird. That's a common hummingbird that we have here in the South. And this little flower has a purpose, okay? So we're going to get into harvest, because harvest is what is growing in our life, what is growing in our mind, what is growing in our will and emotions, what is growing in our brain, our thoughts, what's growing in our body, our health, what's growing in our heart and our spirit. This is the harvest of a seed sown, and this little tiny flower has a purpose. So part of talking about harvest is the importance of understanding our divine purpose, that each of us has one, okay? And it's hard to get to that purpose if we are producing a negative or harvest that is bringing about deterioration, degeneration, negative emotions, negative thoughts. I think of going inward, like when you want to retreat and, stay at home and not talk with anyone, introversion, depression, anxiety. When you're dealing with those as your harvest, okay? When you're dealing with those as your harvest, you can't fulfill your divine purpose, okay? So one of the areas that we're going to go into in this series that I'm doing is the importance of our harvest for many reasons. I'm really, really big on divine health, and so that's important for me. I do not like aging, and nor do I plan to do it, okay? So I am looking into divine health and therefore producing my harvest. But I'm also very, very in tune and want to fulfill my divine purpose, okay? That's far more important than my health. But if I'm in poor health, if I'm depressed, if I am sad, lonely, confused, angry, frustrated, offended, any of those things, I'm not going to be able to fulfill my purpose, because I'm going to not be just looking like this flower here, right? I mean, I'm going to be more of a retreating away, and that's really easy to do. I mean, I personally like to do that. So I have to force myself out of that state. But again, I'm reminded of what harvest I'm producing when I feel that way. And this is another plant here. I just brought this one up too because I just love it. This is Trillium, okay? And there is a Trillium, and if you look at this right here, there is a Trillium, and it maybe this one, but I don't have my books with me, that produces an amazing little fruit right here, and you'd never know it. And so when I saw this, it made me think about all of the amazing fruits that we are supposed to produce, and that maybe because we're not planting the right seeds, not cultivating our soil properly, that no one sees the fruit, right? Or the fruit is hidden, and then we're not gonna be able to fulfill our divine purpose. So harvest, a very, very, very important part of the seed time and harvest.